other of the players that may not live in the area through giving them money?
There's questions about Fan Fest, and Chuck and I met about this a couple of weeks ago, and he's going to take that thing the way it was meant to be, back the way we did it about 20 years ago.
Yeah, you know, the fest part, I assume, is short for festival, and there aren't too many one-day festivals. So Fan Fest is going to be completely different. It is going to go back to what the original idea was going to be. I don't want to give away you know, any details yet because we're in the earliest stages of thinking about it, but Fan Fest is going to be completely redesigned and reimagined, and it's going to be, you know, of the scale that it should be, because we ought to get, over the period of a weekend, we ought to have 25,000, 30,000 people coming from all over the state of Texas to see it, and that's the way that we're going to do it. So it's going to be a completely different event going forward.
Next question.
Hey guys, Matthew from Dallas. When the Rangers make the playoffs and stuff, for the Dallas fans who can't get tickets to the playoffs, do you consider maybe showing the games at Victory Plaza? By the AA seat?
Will you show the games in another place?
Victory Plaza.
Yeah,
oh, Victory Plaza?
Yeah, for the Dallas fans who can't get tickets and, you know, throw a big party over it.
Well, that's an interesting idea. When the Pittsburgh Penguins made the Stanley Cup Finals a couple years ago, they brought in big screen TVs and they showed the games outside the arena because the games were sold out. They could have sold 100,000 tickets and the arena only accommodated about 17,000. So that's a really interesting idea. The problem was the second year that the Penguins went to do it, they asked for permission, and they were told no because the television contracts didn't permit it. So I think we all know there are times to ask permission, and there are other times when it's better to beg forgiveness. And so if you don't tell anyone, I won't tell anyone, but we'll look into see what the logistics of it are.
Next question.
I'm Matt from Farmers Branch, and my friends and I have been discussing this, and we're hoping you can help settle the issue for us. And it's who do you think would win a race between Benji Molina and Ron Washington?
That's a good question there, Chuck. The kind of questions we like. Who would win a race between Benji Molina and Ron Washington? I know, Chuck, what do you think? I think that's the way baseball goes.
We have enough time to find out.
I'll pick and Wash.
I think I'm going with Wash. But I'll tell you what. The night that Benji had his cycle, were you there? Oh wow, that's great. So I'm watching in my hotel room, and you know, he comes up, and the last one he needs to complete it is a triple. And I was texting back and forth with JD. I said, I said, you know, what sort of events would have to conspire for him to complete this cycle? And we were, you know, imagining, you know, what it would be. And then the ball's hit, and of course it glances off the outfielder's glove, you know, far away to the deepest part of the park. And, I mean, hearing the call, and I heard both Josh's call, and I've heard Eric's call as well. They were just classic, and I was just sitting there in my hotel room, you know, punching the pillows on the bed. By the way, in the room that I have not checked out of since January 4th, okay? But I'm happy to tell you, we're closing on our house here tomorrow, so we're finally going to get out of the hotel. So, literally, you know how all those months ago that we were, you know, up the expressway there, and I'd already been in my hotel room for 3 months. I'm still there, so I'm really looking forward to getting into the house. But it was, yeah, that was quite a thing. So Benji getting a hit for the cycle, getting a triple for the last one, may be one of those things that is a really good trivia question 20 years from now.
Next question.
I have a truck, so if you need help moving, hit me up. No, I just wanted to, I'm Matt from Saxby. I just wanted to say thank you so much. Like, as soon as you took over, I was at the next game, and me and my brother, we went to the game. We could totally tell a difference, how you're giving it back to the fans. We wanted to say thank you so much for that. And you're really making it a lot of fun. Just setting stuff up like this, we can just interact with you. I mean, you're a real person, you know. It's amazing. But thank you. And what do you like to do for fun, man? Because I go to Rangers games for fun, and this is the perfect job. What do you do?
What do you do for fun, Chuck?
Hey, I get to wake up every morning and be the owner of a Major League Baseball team. That's cool enough for me.
Next question.
Hi, Chuck. I'm Paul from Burleson.
Hi, Paul.
I want to welcome you here. We're all excited. Under previous regimes, it always seemed like we were under a 5-year plan. The only problem was that 5 years never came. I wonder what your expectations are for the end of this year and for next year.
Well, I think that usually when you talk about a 5-year plan, you're coming from a place where you don't want to be, and you're talking about how long it's going to be to get there. We're in first place. Enthusiasm throughout the community is the highest it's been in a generation. So I think we're in a pretty good place. So to me, there's not a 5-year plan. Our plan is a perpetual plan, which is how can we keep building upon this success on the field and off the field, so that year in and year out, we're one of the franchises that you know is going to compete. I mean, you don't need to read a magazine to know whether the Yankees have a shot, or whether the Red Sox have a shot, or frankly, whether the Angels have a shot. I mean, they're having a down year this year, but you go into every season, you know that they're going to be a club you contend with. Now, for each of those teams, there are years where it's just not meant to be, and every one of those teams has had one of those in the last 5 years. So, it's not that every year you just roll the ball out there and you know you're going to be in the playoffs. But every year there are certain franchises you know every single year they're going to compete and they're really going to have a shot, and they may be there at the end of October. So our plans are about growing as an organization and as a family, all of us together. We're one of those franchises, and I know that we're going to get there. I don't just believe it, I know it. And in 3 or 4 years, everyone around the country is going to look back on the Texas Rangers and say, how could it ever have been different? And that's the way it is now with the Red Sox. I mean, 10 years ago, if you wanted a ticket to a Red Sox game on a Thursday night, there was no problem at all. You know, when the Angels won their first World Series, they were still only drawing 2.3 million fans. Now they're over 3 million every year. So in 3 or 4 years, we're all going to be able to look back at what we've done, and other people are going to marvel and say, why wasn't it always that way? So to me, it's not about a 5-year plan or a 3-year plan. It's a perpetual plan to take all of the success that we've achieved so far, embrace it, savor it, enjoy it, and then turn it into even greater success. And with that, Elvis is leading off the game, so I think it's time to watch a ball game. Oh, wait a minute, we got one more question.
We got one more question. Josh Lewis got his Seinfeld trivia book open, so the game's underway, so go ahead.
Oh, sorry, very important question here. Any uniform changes in plan this coming year?
Uniform changes.
There won't be any uniform changes in 2011, and in part that's because in order to change your uniform or your trademarks or logos or anything like that, you have to submit it to Major League Baseball by May of the preceding year. And obviously, May of this year, I was just trying to figure out how long I was going to have to keep hanging out with a room full of lawyers. So that wasn't done. But we are right now, we're doing, in fact, we kicked off today, actually Friday, an extensive, it's called a branding study. That's really cool stuff. It sounds kind of goofy, but it's actually really, really fun stuff. And what's going to come out of this process, which is going to go on over the next 4 or 5 months, is a better sense of exactly how we can present ourselves in a way that reflects youth. And it may be that what comes out of that are some changes in the uniform and changes in the look. I don't know that, but it's possible. But let's do this since we're winding down here. Let me ask a simple question. Blue or red? How many want? Hang on. How many want blue? Yeah. How many want red? Yeah. Sounds like a focus group to me. All right, hey, thanks everybody. I appreciate it. And let's score some runs and go get them. Huh? Thank you.